We're back, baby. We're fucking back, and it's a beautiful day because you know what? We're not just on YouTube. We're not just on YouTube as I adjust the camera right here. We're also now back on Twitter. I've learned how to multi-stream. I was very lobotomized and not figuring out how to do it earlier. For some reason, I was hiding these settings from myself, but now it's a moot point because we are all here once in the same place. Maybe I even add Twitch at some point as well. I don't know. Do people even still look at Twitch? I don't know. Anyways, I want to say a massive good morning to everyone out there in cryptocurrency. I see Bob Strick. Oh shit, lobotomized more likely indeed. What's up, free to fret? I don't know. Once upon a time, good morning to you, sir. Jordan Giacalini, very nice alliteration for a name. Yarbook, good morning, sir. Aging like a fine banana. That's not very good, sir. It's not very... Mr. Van Doysen, good as always, see you, sir. Jacob Wilson, who else do we have? Quantum Stroke, a lot of big booty green candles. Well, big booty green candles if you are looking for a 0.5% move, indeed, but ultimately Bitcoin more or less kind of boring here for, I think, the majority of people of this world. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, as we'll get into a little bit later. In fact, today, I kind of want to prepare for tomorrow's video in that I do want to show some hopium. In fact, I had a really good conversation yesterday with someone at the gym, and it made me realize that there is actually some silver lining on things. There is one major statistic that I completely forgot to talk about in yesterday's video that conversation brought about in my mind, and so I want to be presenting that on today's video. However, I should let you know that it is a little bit more on the hopium side. You know, we'll be kind of working out, I guess, how this will look in the whole picture, but ultimately, you know, it still depends on several different things. Well, not several different things, but one major thing, which will naturally literally just take time, which we won't literally know until really the last week of this month when things become a lot more clear. Of course, a higher term time frame picture really has been unchanged here, but the lower term time frames, as we have been saying, is looking for a bounce. Bitcoin's already bounced, pretty significantly from the lows. We've seen a bounce from about 107 all the way up to 112 almost. And Bitcoin, really hasn't done all, fuck all to be fair, still operating on lower highs right here. But ultimately, I don't think it would be that crazy to expect Bitcoin to really set in a base and try a bounce. I'm not necessarily saying that there's going to be a reversal, but there's a whole big puzzle that is being put together on the higher term timeframes here. And we can kind of see how one domino leads to the next. So it's kind of one of those fun times, at least for myself, like it's like Schrodinger's fucking chart. Everything is possible right now as we head into the midpoint of September. But once we get there, that's when the picture becomes a lot more clear. And then the end of this month, I'll have some major sort of biases coming into the end of this year, basically. But for right now, things do still point in a similar direction. Just want to present both sides accurately. Of course, I should also say, before we get into this one, as I did massively drop the ball on this one on Monday's stream, we do have a sale going on for Labor Day week. It is going from this past Monday to next Monday, and you can get 20% off of any one of the programs or services with the link in the description below for Teachable with the code LABOR 2020, LABOR in all capitals, literally LABOR 2025. Sorry, I said 2020. I can't even get it right. Holy shit. I am lobotomized as fuck. LABOR, LABOR, all capitals. And then the year, 2025, the year that we are living in right now, gives you 20% off of any one of the programs or services in the link in the description below for Teachable. There's no exclusions for this. You can apply to anything and everything, and it's there for you as of this moment. Anyways, I'll get into some of these comments right here. Then we'll get into some good old Bitcoin price action analysis. Once upon a time says, only 3 likes, pathetic, I know, but we can't force people to do anything like that. Look, if you like the video, like the video. If you don't like the video, then don't like the video. It's all good. In fact, just literally hit the don't like button because that actually does increase the engagement. And, well, I won't actually see it, but, that's cool. Anyways. anyways. Oh, shit. I just realized I did not even scroll to the bottom of these comments here. Jesse Benson says, a plague upon you from Thailand. Yeah. very unique insult. I like it. I like it a lot. We got a lot of hate coming in from all angles of the world. This is what I love to see. I fucking love it, man. I live off the hate. We need hate and love. We need to balance everything out. We need to be balanced in the force so that we don't become Lord Vader or some, I don't know, Peter Pan pussy shit like Yoda. We want real shit. We want real shit. 62 now, mofos. Nice. I like it. 62 closet homos just like myself in the closet, feeling good, feeling really powerful, and also feeling like beautiful lesbians. Ben's chair says powerful, off to play some hockey. Nice, man. You must Are you Canadian or some shit? What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. No, kidding, man. We love hockey as well. I mean, I don't necessarily play hockey myself, but we did go to our first hockey game over here to see the Tampa Bay Lightning. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. In fact, actually, my brother-in-law runs like a big hockey-related company. He does like hockey clothing. You probably know him if you're into hockey. It's called Bring Hockey Back. Yeah, that's the one, man. He is the guy for that shit. He is the fucking man. Yes, some Peter Pan pussy shit, sir. Also, happy birthday from the Garbage Police. I appreciate that, Sanaz. I do appreciate that. The Garbage Police, unfortunately, did not visit me on my birthday. I have been saving many things for them to show them of my adherence to their rules. But now, since that's all been fucked up, you know what I did, Sanaz? You know what I did? I threw all of my fucking garbage in my garbage disposal, which, by the way, if you non-Americans don't know what a garbage disposal is, oh, I'm about to aware you on some major American shit. Look, in every American sink, okay? Every American has this in their sink. Whether you're super rich or super poor, everyone fucking has it. In your sink, there is a magical button that absolutely grinds everything up and shoves it down the sink tube, whatever the fuck. It just disappears, okay? After that point, I don't give a fuck what the hell is happening with it. It's gone. It's out of sight, out of mind. Who knows what happens to it at that point? But that means there's no composting going on over here. I'm not putting my proper wrappers in the proper plastic disposal case or whatever the fuck they want you to do over there. None of that stuff's going on. That's right. That's right. I will tell you another secret about Finland and probably other Euro gay places as well. When you get when you buy I typically would get these ground beef packages, and they come in plastic. Okay. I love ground beef. It's literally my favorite thing to eat. I don't care if I've been literally dirt fucking broke. Dirt broke. Is that even a word? Dirt poor, absolutely broke. Literally, I had like $0 in my bank account, just enough to buy some fucking ground beef. Also, when I actually do have money, I still eat the ground beef. It's my favorite thing. It really is. I love it. I fucking love it. Anyways, comes in plastic wrappers, as I'm sure you know. In Finland, they require that you wash those off so that there's no, beef residue on them or anything like this, or any unnatural juices on them, and then you can safely dispose of them in the proper bin. Of course, these are things that you should be doing. Anyways, by the way, in case anyone's new here, no, I don't actually fucking hate gay people or anything like this. No, of course not. I think they're great. I think they're awesome. We love gay people. It's a very big travesty that nowadays the gay people are being washed out. They're being erased. They're being literally genocided by this new crop of gays called trans people. And that's the real issue that we have going on today. We need to bring back gay people. We need to make gay people great again. We need to reject monetarity, and we need to embrace the gays. We need to embrace the gays, me being the biggest of them. Dirt Oak. Yes, we have some Dirt Oak. What's up? What's up? It's Datsy. Giuseppe says, voila, with that haircut, he's officially a part of the Link shitcoin army. Respect. Fair enough. I'm a Link Marine now. Yes, I'm a Link as well. Good old water, man. Good old water. Rinse your meat trash or rinse your meat trash. Yes, exactly. We both need to all beat our meat as well right now, just in good memory of these people. Yes, make gay people great again. We need our gay people. We love our gay people, okay? Anyways. A few new things to be speaking about today, but I do want to focus today's video a little bit more, I guess, on shorter term time frame analysis. Mike's Mind and Matter says, just returned from Budapest. I love Budapest, man. I actually lived there for a summer one time, man. It's a magical place. It's a great place to be, especially when you're in your young 20s and broke, basically. Found a place where the rand is stronger. Oh, yeah. The Budapest, what's it called? What is their currency called? The forint. Are they still using the forint? Yeah, they're still using the forint. Yeah, that is like fucking monopoly money. When I was there maybe 15 years ago now, I think it was $1 equaled 20 forint, and I just felt like a fucking monopoly master every time I went to go get some cash, man. It was great. I fucking love it, man. Magical place. Absolutely magical place. I see we got some Twitter homies as well. This is good. This is very, very nice. Jojo Trades Crypto says, we do the same here before disposing them plastic shits. Normal if you want to recycle. Your country is great. There are some good things, no doubt about it. Do you like America or Europe better? Oh, Mr. Gallo, you already know the answer to this question. Okay, honestly, You don't appreciate, I know this is so cliche, man, and it's exactly what your parents tell you, you know, when you're younger, but you don't appreciate America enough until you travel around the world and see how other countries live. I'm just telling you right now, man. Yes, America is not perfect. It is not the best in all aspects. Obviously, we don't have bidets here, for example. I've been trying to make a tweet to President Trump about the bidet issue. I still haven't found the right words just yet, and I don't think that he even checks his Twitter, but yes, it's not perfect, but if I have to choose a place to live, fucking hell, man, America is really hard to beat. I'll tell you that straight up. Look, you just don't know how fucking good you have it until you go through the suburbs of America as a grown man and then compare it to the places that you've seen in Europe. I'm sorry, you just don't know how fucking good you have it. Not only that, but America, you really don't understand how fucking cold, dark, and depressing other places of the world are, especially in Europe, compared to America are. Now, of course, this does not apply to other sunny places in the world. Obviously not. But compared to Europe, Europe is cold, it's fucking dark, and it's rainy and depressing for most part of the year, except for Southern Europe, which is why the Greek people are happy. Italians, I don't know, but I imagine they're probably happy as well. Greek people are amazing. They're awesome. The rest of Europe, fuck them. They suck. Anyways. Elsa thinks, yeah, Australia probably is nice like that as well, but taxes way too fucking high there, man. And also, my biggest gripe with America before was mostly because I did not understand the tax code. I was like, oh my God, man, you just get fucking raped with taxes here. Why don't I just go to another socialistic country that also rapes you with taxes? Because what's the difference? Then I started to actually learn about the tax code, okay? All this was due to my own ignorance, of course. I was a fucking lobotomized moron, and then I tried to extricate myself as best as I can, and I continue to try to do this as well. Now, that's the thing, man. If you actually understand the tax code in America, you will understand that this place really does actually try to facilitate people building their own wealth. It really actually does. If you actually try to learn that. I know there's going to be so much pushback to that. It's like, well, what about inflation? It's like, you fucking idiot. You know about inflation. You know the right action to take. It's all there in writing. It's not like it's a secret. It just, people just don't know it because it's not fucking yelled at you from every angle. Unfortunately, that's the case. But nowadays with the internet, nowadays with the massive dissemination of information, there's really no excuse, in my opinion, to not know these things. You have ChatGPT at your disposal for basically free, and you can have basically a completely, infinitely patient and mostly wise AI walk you through each and everything that you don't understand. You can treat it as a mentor. It's amazing. It's seriously amazing. You can learn anything, almost anything that you want. All this shit talk just for TA. That's right, AU. If you don't like it, get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of. You know what you are. That's right. Complaining is not allowed. It's also banned. It's a bannable offense. We will get rid of you. You are banned from Crownistan. This is not a crownocracy, okay? I am the crown tater, and I will deal with the fucking crown consequences when justice has been made. Yes, we have balanced hate and love. That's exactly what we want, Signals. We need the balance. We need the balance. That is what balance is all about. You can't have hate without love, and you can't have love without hate. Come to Cape Town, you'll love it. I probably would love the absolutely beautiful scenery there, 100%. I don't know if I'd love the crime rate there, at least from what I've seen, man. Didn't Trump put a tariff on bidets? I don't know, but they're actually quite dirt cheap. And also another thing about America, man, like if you do go to the right places, it is stunning. It's really stunning. Like some of the places that you can go to, it's insane what's available here. Spain is paying. People and weather are amazing for tourists. Yeah, for sure. Government and taxing are really bad. I hear that Spain is basically socialist at this point. I mean, more or less, maybe even more socialist than the Nordic countries, honestly. But yeah, what you said there is very much echoed by just about everyone I know who's gone to Spain. It's like the weather's amazing. The people in general are quite great. But now it seems like there's a lot of civil unrest, and the situation like politically is just. I mean, look, personally, I don't want to live in anywhere that's socialistic. That's me. Come to Pakistan. Nice try. Kidding. I don't know anything about Pakistan. So obviously, I have just basically biased opinions about it. Maybe it's an amazing place. I don't know. He's talking about Walmart. Walmart is amazing. A lot of amazing people in Walmart. A lot of great people in Walmart. Real Americans go to Walmart at 11 p.m. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. I'm Portuguese, both Spain and Portugal, very socialist, fucking cancer. Yeah, man. I was actually thinking of setting up a base in Portugal a while back as well, because they had a golden visa program and, you know, it's pretty reasonable. But then I started looking into these sort of things and I was very much turned off by that. You know, it's unfortunate, man. These beautiful places seem to go that route, but I don't know. Maybe it's just like the weather and the place is so nice that people just don't want to work because they're like, fuck that, I'm going outside all the time. And then they're like, oh shit, we don't have a job or income, so we need your help, government. And then they get them onto the government tit. Once you do that, it's very hard to go back. Very, very hard to go back. Montana's where it's at. I mean, Montana's fucking beautiful. A lot of those northern states are very, very beautiful. Like I was looking at places in Wyoming, actually, just randomly around Jackson Hole. It's like, holy shit, man, what the fuck is this? You can live here? That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Do you know Imran Khan? No, I don't. No, I don't. Where is that name coming from? I have no idea. True. No shit is true. Yeah, fair enough, man. Fair enough. What about the Caribbean? I mean, Caribbean, you know, it looks nice, but I want to go to a place, you know, where shit works. You can depend on, you can depend on like people to be there and shit. Like I want good internet connection, shit like that, man. Gibraltar has great weather and British pirates, really? And you have Spain right there to enjoy life. Fair enough, man. Come to Lebanon. I've actually heard really good things about Lebanon for like, especially if like you're in your 20s and you want to party and shit like that. But I'm no longer in my 20s and I no longer really want to party, man. What's up, Peter Underwood? Good to see you, man. Our lovely moderator. Yeah, Oregon is awesome too. I lived in Oregon for a while. Went to school at University of Oregon. There are some really, really nice places there for sure. But goddamn, man, again, the political situation there is not something I'm a big fan of. And you know the shit that I've seen, especially recently in Portland. Portland's like it was a really nice city. It was a really, really nice city for a while. But it looks like things have kind of changed recently. Anyways, let's get into some actual Bitcoin price action analysis. What about different parts of the Middle East? I lived in Dubai. There are some amazing things about Dubai, absolutely. But I do prefer not to live there as like a primary residence. Saudi Arabia looked pretty cool. Elsa went to Oman, was it? Did you go to Oman? Or was it Jordan? Yeah, it was Oman, and she saw dolphins. That was pretty cool. You know, there's some really nice places in the Middle East, man. And honestly, the fucking the people in the UAE, Dubai especially, they have an extremely American attitude. It's that's probably where a lot of Americans are going to end up, and a lot of just people in the world are going to end up, because very, very easy to emigrate to. Anyways, let's get over some daily price action statistics. Then we'll get into some new information. We'll go over some short term as well. But looking at daily here for Bitcoin, Wednesday is actually does have the highest positive returns for positive closing Wednesdays since this bull market began in 2023. Again, whether Wednesday is likely to close positive or negatively, slightly in favor of positive closures, just under 52%, but it does, like I say, have the highest positive return. So if you're ever going to see, a day that has real big breakout potential, it's actually Wednesday with 2.62%. On the average returns for those positive closing days. On the other side, losing an average of 1.69%. Again, putting these into terms of range, to the downside, that would give us a range boundary at about 109,400. To the upside, that would give us a range boundary at about 114,150. I want to once again highlight that yesterday has played off of the top side of the of that average returns range high. Again, if you are a short-term time frame scalper, I think that this is super, super fucking powerful. And by the way, you can massively, massively, massively customize these statistics. I do not even use this indicator to like 20% of its potential. You can go by hour if you really, really want. And you can also create, different ranges based off of not just the average, but also standard deviations. Again, this one's a part of the Caretaker's indicator suite. All that stuff, again, is on sale. But this one, I feel like I just don't do it enough justice because of how fucking, how versatile this damn thing is and how important it's, especially it's become to like short-term trading. Anyways, yeah, those would be the major areas to be looking at for today. Again, generally speaking, I am looking for Bitcoin to bounce out of this region first rather than continue to the downside, although I do not think Bitcoin has put in the low for this month. I'll say that one more time. I don't think that Bitcoin's put in the low for this month. I do think that Bitcoin is on a nice bounce. Obviously, it already has bounced quite a fair bit. We still have this meta signal set up over here. This is an 8-hour time frame. The strategy version is a 1.0, which is typically quite good in my experience. Target number 1 is 113 and almost 200. That's a 74.25% strike rate almost, which is rather high. high. So I do think it's very possible for Bitcoin to get somewhere around there. That's effectively the last lower high that we did see in this current trend. Target number 2, I have a little bit less enthusiasm for. That's about a 57.5% strike rate all the way at 117. Target number 3, I think is very unlikely unless this thing quite literally is already put in the low and is reversing. I do not see that one getting hit on this move. But hey, stats are fucking stats, man. At the end of the day, stats are stats. And it's all about the long-term game. It's all about the long-term game. That is the main thing I really want to be saying. On top of all of this, we do see that 12-hour time frame does have 1, 2, 3 drives of bullish divergence over here. I do want to acknowledge that in the short term, there is potential for a hidden bearish divergence, however, and you'll notice that divergence homos will always play one against the other. So trends typically work with, in this case, a downtrend. You get your bounces when you get some bullish divergence, but you get your continuation lower highs when you get that hidden bearish divergence. And right here, we can already see higher highs on the 12-hour RSI compared to the highs from August 27th when Bitcoin was trading at that 113,500-ish number. So as long as Bitcoin's below there, there is real potential for hidden bearish divergence, meaning that, does Bitcoin put in a high here? Does it put in a high a little bit closer to 113? I don't know. I think 113 personally is quite likely. We have statistics that do suggest that over here. So I would say that, hey, Bitcoin probably does rally somewhere around there. Maybe there's a pullback first. Maybe it pulls back, later. I don't fucking know about that. I'm not making any calls right there. But generally speaking, I really would be cognizant that anywhere around about 113 or even slightly lower than where that's at right now, does have potential for yet another lower high. And if we do see confirmation of this hidden bearish divergence, then I'd be expecting another move back down probably to 109 or so, somewhere around there, or just back into this lower block. But still, I would not necessarily be looking for continuation of new lows just yet. I do think that this is going to take some time to play out. I think that we are, entering into a kind of a boring period, and there's going to be ebbs and flows naturally because we're dealing with such a big number on Bitcoin. These ebbs and flows will be big absolute values, but they're not going to be big percentages, so to speak. So, or at least compared to what you're generally used to. What I'm trying to say is that, yes, I think that this is the low for, I don't know, at least like a week or two. And Bitcoin can maybe come back down in the short term and test around there. But ultimately, I'd be looking for, if it did confirm hidden bearish divergence right here, I think it would do something like this, put in a higher low and then try again to the upside. But again, I am not bullish. I am boorish at best, and I don't know about bearish at worst, because I don't think that the cycle is over. I do think that the cycle whole theory is done. I think it's kaput. I think it's over in that regard. And we're just going to get stair steps. But anyways, back onto topic here. I did also want to speak about the price action pivots on this time frame as well for the daily time frame. We can see that Bitcoin is breaking the upper boundary as of right now. It is also marking off the relevance of that 113,500-ish number, the same high that we just saw from the meta signal setup. So again, does Bitcoin get somewhere around here? Ultimately, I think that's quite likely. The question is, does Bitcoin pull back first and then reach up there, or does it just go straight from here? That I don't know. That I don't have any really strong opinions on. Maybe if I'm looking at a 4-hour time frame, I mean, I'm not really getting anything super unique here. It kind of looks to me like it wants to pull back a little bit first and then try that move. But again, I wouldn't be making any like major calls there. On top of this, we can go over here, and if I click the right chart, which I did not, let's go to this one perhaps. We can also see that this is within the context of daily stochastic momentum, getting across the upside for the first time in a while. That one's going to be showing upside pressure as long as Bitcoin's above 109. So again, all higher term time frames above this are still angled healthily to the downside, like very aggressively to the downside. But on the daily, does that support a bounce, which ultimately probably leads towards another lower high? I think so. I do want to acknowledge that there is, of course, a nice trendline regression coming in from the last couple highs. And it would kind of make sense to me that the daily stochastic oscillator spends the next week and a half or something like this, reaching back up here. And once it gets around this, this regression, that's where I'd be looking for it to turn back down. That probably correlates with, Bitcoin also putting in that next lower high and turning back down as well. And then we'll come back to it after that. But here's the thing, like I said at the beginning of this video, and also a reference to the title as well, there is something for me that could change everything, really. And like I said, this was kind of based upon a serendipitous conversation that I had at the gym yesterday with someone who watches the channel, a good friend actually. And honestly, I completely forgot about this, but that conversation brought it back into my mind. So I want to say thank you for that. And it is about September being green. So as many people know, September is one of the not so good months for Bitcoin. It's not the worst month for Bitcoin, which is a major issue that many people have, because many people think that it's the worst month for Bitcoin, but it's just not. And that's one of the things, man. People fucking will parrot a fucking thing that they heard from Tom Lee or anyone, really, anyone. They will parrot something that is just not true without even checking it. And it's not even that fucking hard to check. Anyways, September is among the worst months for Bitcoin, but it's not the worst month for Bitcoin. August is one of the worst months, and then there's also one that's kind of early in the year, which I forget right now, but that one's also quite bad as well. But August takes a cake, I do believe. Anyways, in the event that September is green, which we have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green September, or actually 7 green Septembers in Bitcoin's history. 2010 kind of hard to really trust though, because it was like so long ago. So I'm going to say 6. Those 6 green Septembers have always led to humongously gaining fourth quarters. And this was a stat that we brought up last year, by the way, and also the year prior to that as well. 2023 and 2024 actually were both green Septembers, by the way. And from that time, over the past 1, 2, 3, 4 iterations where we've seen green Septembers, which was 2024, 2023, 2016, and 2015, we've seen 50% move on average for Bitcoin to the upside, or actually a little bit better than 50% move average for Bitcoin to the upside from that end of September close to the high in December. Or just where December closed. Actually, I should say 2013 was a major outlier here. That was 415%. And 2012, again, don't know how much I trust that one. Bitcoin did make a pretty massive high there, though. But yeah, on a closing basis was not, did not really hold on to it. But especially these last 4 that we've seen have consecutively been, about 50% or a little bit more in some cases. So September being green will majorly influence my own analysis. If we see a green September, you will see me start to switch on to, instead of being corrective for the next few months, I will be bullish for the next few months into the end of the year. This is a big fucking if. Again, big fucking if green is even September, if September is even green to begin with. Dyslexia striking me, removing the cock from ass once again. But yeah, if that happens, I will be looking for basically a parabolic blow off top in Q4. That would also make me simultaneously believe that the cycles still are legitimate and we will see a real bear market for Bitcoin with big downside price action, somewhere between a 60 to 70% drawdown from whatever high Bitcoin gets. I personally still do not think that that's likely to happen. I think what's more likely is that we will see a prolonged sideways and downside period. But I just wanted to bring that up because that could really change my opinion, again, based upon September's ability to close positively or not, which effectively means that Bitcoin would need to close above 109,000 US dollars by end of September. Definitely possible, but with 27 and a half days left to go, anything could fucking happen. I would not be making any sort of major, calls about that right now. I don't like using that word call, but just any like major decisions based upon that right now. But here's again the thing: if you recall from yesterday's video, which I won't go through in today's video, we'll do like a whole fucking bringing every single puzzle piece together video. I don't know, maybe later this week or something like that. But at some point we'll do that. But if you recall from yesterday's video, if Bitcoin can just make it to the middle of September without fucking shitting the bed, September 15th without shitting the bed, and like we're somewhere around 109 or especially above 109, the probability of Bitcoin closing green for September increases massively because we have seen 80% of the time from the 15th of September to the 30th of September has been a generally positive time for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin can more or less just remain above the open, especially, which is about 109, then I would say by about middle of September, I'll start to have like a much more strong opinion, still not completely verified until the end of September. So that's the way that my mind will be working towards this. Again, you can take that however you want. You can take whatever part you like, discard whatever other part you don't like. Again, at the end of the day, I just on a channel like this want to be presenting the data, the numbers, the statistics in the best way that I can. You draw your conclusions from that. I'll share with you what I'm drawing from that. But at the end of the day, take whatever you will if if there's anything at all. That's really what I want to focus my channel on. It's not about calls, it's not about this or that. It's about statistics and making better decisions with statistics. That's what it's all about. That's what my programs are all about too. That's what all of these fucking tools are about over here as well. It's all about the numbers. It's all about long-term viability mediated by looking at probabilities. That's, in my opinion, what everything comes down to. It's what everything fucking comes down to. Like, not even just in trading, but in life, honestly. Making decisions based off of a probability matrix, you know, as best as you can define, is going to lead you to the best possible place. That's just, I mean, there's no other way to live life, in my opinion. But then again, maybe there is. I mean, there is other ways to live life. I just think that that's the best way to potentially actually get to where you want to fucking go, right? Anyways, Shipwreck says, hit the like button. Thank you. I appreciate that as well. You can hit the like button if you want to hit the like button. You can also not if you don't want to as well. But good to see you as well, Mr. Ship. Sequoia says, mine didn't eat the penny. My kid threw it in the other day. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm getting in the middle of some weird conversation right now. Leave the kids out of this one. Nikki Page, I appreciate that feedback. Love the long analysis from yesterday. Yeah, like I said, I do need to add a couple pieces to that. I got a little bit lost in the sauce in yesterday's video, and also it was very, very long to begin with. Like, I don't really want to make videos that are especially like greater than 20 minutes, but you know, even around 15 minutes is probably too much for most people. So I want to make like a streamlined version of that video and kind of like just like a roadmap of dominoes. It's like how they split apart, you know, depending upon what dates and what prices exist for Bitcoin. And I think that could be kind of cool and hopefully helpful as well. So yeah, love to see me some stat size, positioning size, ratchet sir. What the fuck? Some stat size, some Siskel sizing positions. What? I think you're just putting words in front of words, and it doesn't really make sense to me. Or at least I don't understand it. What's up, Nate? Nate from Defiance says, get your pooper scoopers ready. We need some pooper scoopers for sure. In fact, I learned a really interesting fact from, I have a niece. I have a niece who's like, what? She's 3.5 years old. How old is Ruth? 3.5. Okay. She is like about 3.5. And my sister was telling me that like there was a phase when she was, I don't know, 1 or 2, where she would go, when she was like learning to go to the bathroom, instead of using the toilet paper to like grab her shits, she would use her hands to grab her shits and like throw it in the toilet, which is just so fucking funny, man. It's so fucking funny. Like, I mean, it makes sense. Like, I can see why you would do that, because it's like, just get it out of there. This is way easier. I don't need fucking toilet paper. Just scoop it out. My fingernails are great at, you know, they're basically like pooper scoopers. You know, you hide it under the nails and then you deal with it later. Very dirty. Very, very dirty. Yes, a little bit of word salad there. Maybe I'm lobotomizing, just don't understand. Tyler Adams, Stop Rewind, says, Krown, I keep mistaking the hair on your shoulder for a faded prison tattoo. I know, man. You're not the first person to think that, by the way. You're not the first person to think that, but yeah. Yeah, man, I'm a hairy motherfucker. I don't know what the hell happened. Maybe my mom was raped by a gorilla or some shit. Who knows? Also very bad because my parents actually listen to these streams for some god-awful reason, and they're not going to like that one. But hey, I don't know what the hell happened here, because no one else in my family is hairy as fuck. I don't understand it. Anyways, Shannon Jackson says, if probability is statistically up, then methodology for position size is what I mean. Okay. Well, probability right now is not statistically up for the long term. I want to be very, very clear about that. It could very much change for me, though, by starting the middle of September and then really strongly by the end of September. But for right now, that actually is not true. Anyways, if probability is statistically up, then methodology for positions, that actually is not how position size would be related. Position sizing should always be related to, 1, your probability of success for any particular trade, and then 2, your need for equity to survive in order to trade if you do lose. See, people think about it the opposite way. They think about, oh shit, this trade has a very, very high probability win. How much can I put onto it and fucking over leverage myself? No. You want to use the least amount possible. The name of the game is long-term viability. Anything that you do to fuck up your long-term viability by oversizing is going to make you go slower in the long run. That's the problem. Generally people think the higher amount you go, the faster you go. No, because you have a non-zero probability to lose a trade. And for many people, that non-zero probability is actually a much greater than 50% probability to lose a trade. So anytime you take a big loss, eating up even 5% of your account, you are putting yourself in a deeper and deeper hole if you even have a fucking viable strategy to begin with. But most people do not, unfortunately. Most people do not. Anyways, that is why, really I made my programs in the way that I did. That's just the best way that I found to do it for myself. But of course, everyone has their own magic sauce, I guess. But honestly, like, most people shouldn't even really be trading to begin with. Like, look, I will say straight up, as someone who, you know, who has a trading program, 99% of people, maybe even 99.9% of people should not be getting into this or probably even any trading program, to be honest. You don't need to be a day trader or anything like this. It's not fucking glamorous, by the way. It's really not. It's really not a glamorous thing. 0.01% of the population is probably autistic and crazy and retarded enough to maybe do this. But for me, you know, I wanted to make sure that I get all my shit out there while it's still kind of fresh in my mind, you know, in how I would do it for the people who actually, you know, do really want to do it. But goddamn, man, like if you're on the fence about something like this, or if you're just unsure, do not get into something like that. Just buy and hold, okay? You're going to outperform the overwhelming majority of everyone, including quant firms, including big hedge funds, including big money managers. You're going to outperform them over the long term. It's fucking crazy, I know, but you will outperform them statistically speaking just by holding the major indices. I look at that as, you know, SPY. I look at that as whatever you want to use for NASDAQ. You know, I like triple Qs. I look at that as Bitcoin. And then, you know, if you want to hold some gold as well, fucking hold some gold as well. Like that's fine too. But for fuck's sake, man, you really don't need to get too cute with it. Most people are just gonna be spinning their wheels, losing money, man. And I saw a story this morning. I saw a story this morning. I didn't know the guy, but apparently one of the crypto Twitter guys suicided recently, and you know, it's fucking awful, man. I think he was very young, from what I gather. I don't know the specifics of it, but it sounded like he was very young, in his early 20s. He had a family, not just like a wife, but also a kid. I mean, god damn, man. Like, look, trading is brutal. It's fucking brutal. And the people that you're looking at on Twitter, it's not real life. Like, a lot of the people that you look up to on social media, they are like, it's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like. So don't get carried away when you watch these people, when you see their P&Ls, when you see whatever the fuck they're talking about, because it's very possible that they might just be on the verge of, you know, of blowing it all. And it's a fucking sad story, man. It's a fucking sad story. I mean, for fuck's sake. Like, Jesus Christ. Anyways, Bitcoin moving, says get with hype. Yeah, I mean, it's moved like $500, but that's kind of a big move at this point. Anyways, yeah, I mean, it is shocking. Like I said, I don't know the specifics of it, you know, so I shouldn't really speak too much about it. I didn't know the guy as well, but of course, you know, anytime I see something like that, I'm just like, man, goddamn, like, probably should have never got into trading, you know, probably should have never got into trading, like, for real. Like, it's fucking brutal. It's fucking hard. And especially leverage. I mean, Jesus, man, it's rough. It's very, very rough. Shannon Jackson says, I'm pretty proud of my one-day sniper strat in Quant Prime. I worry it's overfitted though. It's possible, but I mean, have you actually put the strategy to the test? That's a good way to test it out. It does beat HODL on a number of time periods. Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, you don't even really need to beat HODLing, because most exchanges will allow you to trade inverse perpetual, so you can hold Bitcoin or whatever you want as collateral in order to put on leverage trades if you do want to leverage trade. So you don't even need to really do that. You don't really need to beat, buy, and hold. The way that I look at it is, you know, you're kind of like, I was going to use a very bad analogy there, which I'm going to hold off on doing that. Anyways, I'm going to get a new career as a greeter at Walmart after the cycle is over. That's also a fair play as well, sir. A fair play as well. What's up, Pesto? Ain't no stream like a Twitch stream? Fuck yeah, man. I hate Twitter stream. Jesus. Yes, but maybe we get Twitch going as well. But yeah, man, always glad to see Mr. Pesto. Really enjoy working with you as well, man. Pesto's been helping me out in the background a lot. Very, very talented. Fucking love it, man. Fucking love it. The Win guy who allegedly made millions and got liquidated. Yeah, that story definitely makes me think something else was going on. Like, where did that money come from, for one? Again, I'm like, look, it might all very, very well be completely legitimate, but I would be curious, where did all that money come from? Because he seemed to really just come out of nowhere. It was all done very specifically on Hyperliquid. To me, that looks, knowing what I know from seeing the background of many of these things, from an influencer perspective, you know, being on social media, I have no way of proving this, and I'm not saying that he did this, but I would not be surprised if a case like this or similar cases like this were in some way being facilitated by the exchange, meaning that, he was getting margin or something. I could be completely wrong. Maybe it was all his money and it was legitimate losses and everything like that. It's very, very possible. It's equally as probable that that is the case, but I would not outrule what I just said because I do know that that is a strategy that, some of these places will do. So I just be really fucking careful with this shit. Really fucking careful about this shit. Fox Couture says, when people ask, what is your job? What do you do? Never admit you're a trader. Just say something like computer tech support stuff. Honestly, I came to that realization a while ago as well, man. I don't tell people that I'm a trader. I don't even tell people. I will say that I'm an investor sometimes because that makes more sense to people. But honestly, it seems less fucking cringe to me at this point to say that I'm a YouTuber rather than a trader. I mean, because you're asking for fucking issues when you do that, man. You're asking for issues, man. Do you think the Hashurban's 107 support is going to fail? It'd be 106 would be the magical number there, and or sorry, it'd actually be 105 is where this wick low is right here. And it depends how you look at it, because you could look at it as valid at 105, but if you do go to the 5-day time frame, which does hold up significantly better over time, that would not be the pivot. It would actually be this low right here from the 21st of June, and that's all the way at 98,330. So do I look at it as valid? Of course it's valid. Do I like it? If you're asking, will it ever get broken? Look, the probabilities are against that. Very, very low probability. Doesn't mean it's impossible though. Like, you're looking for certainties in a world where you can never have that. You can never have that. Dale Lane says, especially don't say crypto. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Never mention the word fucking crypto, Bitcoin, no, nothing like that, man. It is, we have to realize that we are still in our own little crazy community that's very, very small, very, very niche, all these things. Anyways, I've been completely avoiding getting to the super chats. I do apologize about that. Let's get into it right now. Luckily, there's not too many, but we have Steven Schickman first. As always, happy belated. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all of the birthday wishes. It's really, really nice yesterday. I had a great day, to be honest. Anyways, looking at Doggy Daily Weekly, it's like I already knew, my man. It's like I already knew. Doggy, still holding it over here. More importantly, holding that low at 20 cents. So it did test the 20-cent low that we were speaking about earlier, these past couple weeks, actually. It has not broken below that 20-cent low, which is very, very imperative here. But goddamn, man, I don't know if I'd trust it the next time that it comes back down to that number. For right now, Hopium is still alive for something like this. But I would not say that the Hopium is on good grounding, on good footing until it's back above this last price action pivot here high, which is 22.5 cents. Even then, the big one is really going to be your August 23rd high at about 24.5 cents. So really nothing's changed here. I always feel bad, because I tell you, really nothing's changed here. But, you can see that test has now happened. So here's the thing, what I'd say, Stephen, is that if Dogecoin really is going to pull through, if it really is going to pull through, we would expect that the low that you just saw 2 days ago on Sunday is going to be the low. And we should not expect it to go back down there, certainly not close below there. That should be the low, and it should be up only from here. I have serious reservations with that personally. Yes, I do think that things will bounce more from here. Yes, I do think that this thing might even trade above 22.5 cents, but I would really highlight the importance of that 23rd of August high, because as long as you're below there, I would say that this thing is highly questionable. But hey, you have seen a good bounce off of 20 cents already, so that's a good start. If it comes back down to there, I would say that's a pretty good indication that we are going to see it break. Maybe not necessarily on the next pass, but it is going to break. And at that point, I think there's going to be bounces along the way, obviously, but I think that you'd be looking somewhere around 15 or 16 cents, and then we come back to it after that. But yeah, something like that. So Hopium is still alive, still just barely, but it is there. Basically, if you want to be bullish on Dogecoin, I think that you have to expect up only from basically Sunday's low. Yeah, so not impossible. I just think it's a little bit less likely personally. And then you're also looking at Doggy BTC, daily, weekly, monthly. Okay. Let's see, this one probably a bit different. Let's maybe start high first. Haven't seen the new monthly on this one. Yeah, monthly, I'm not going to like this. No, absolutely not. If it does get another rally, I think that you get arrested somewhere around like 240-ish region, maybe 250 if you get lucky. But ultimately, again, the long-term trend is your friend here. I think that this thing is down only, honestly, versus Bitcoin. And to me, this is, if you want to be bearish, this is the perfect place for the next lower high. This is a 5-day getting rejected by the green 55 EMA. It's been rejecting that region since February of this year. It's been holding all of the highs here. So, similar to your doggy versus USD, it's like, okay, I guess a little bit of hopium. This one certainly has significantly less hopium, but the price action pivot here would basically be yesterday's low on a closing basis, below 188 Satoshis on a daily closing basis. This thing will unravel this whole fucking rally that it put in over the last few months over the summer. Not in one dildo, by the way, but over time, bounces along the way, blah, 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 blah. You already know. But I would be expecting to come all the way back down to the June lows and probably low over time, because that has just been the trend. But yeah, I guess a little bit of hopium until that is destroyed right there. Nicholas Carolyn says, thoughts on the 1 month stochastic needing to stay above 104, but 3-month pivot is the 1 month pivot, I believe, is much higher than that. But let me just double check. I may have mischaracterized it. Let's see. For some reason, I have in my mind it's higher. No, you're right. Okay, it's actually, we're both wrong. It's actually 102.5. But yeah, anyways, thoughts on 1 month stochastic need to stay above 104, but 3 month is higher and also closes this month. Yeah, so here's the thing, Nicholas Carolyn, you bring up a really, really good point. Whenever I see something like this, I look for agreement among most of the similar time frames. So I'll go a little bit lower, a little bit higher. So I'll go to the 2-week time frame, and I'll look at this pivot right here. This pivot is 117. Okay, so remember that one. That's a 2-week time frame. That's half of a month. The 3-week time frame is 119,300. So much higher, much higher. Also freshly crossing down. The month, as we already know, is 102.5. The bi-monthly is going to be 111,700, so kind of where Bitcoin's at right now, but also coming in from a very high level, I should add. And then the 3-month time frame, as you did identify, is also 109. So who's the odd man out in this case? They are all kind of in weird, obtuse places, but what we can say is that all of the higher term timeframes are coming in from extremely high critical levels on the stochastic oscillator. And generally, most of them are a lot closer to crossing down, if not already, than the monthly. So I would say the monthly is the odd man out. It's the only one that's very close to 100,000. Everything else is at least 110 or so, and in some cases much higher. So I would say the monthly is the one that is most likely to lie to you. And I mean, it's not lying. Like this is just a mathematical calculation, but I would say that is the least likely one to give us some hopium right here, just because, again, I mean, shit, man, like this month could end above 102,450. Like, let's say this month closes at 105, for example. This would continue up. This number will very likely go significantly up to start off in October, and then that gives you a ripe condition for it to turn down. I think that's probably what will happen, to be honest. But yeah, it is I would consider this one the odd man out. Versus the bi-weekly, the 3-weekly, the bi-monthly, the quarterly, all of those other ones are more or less saying you're looking at hopium here. And even this one, I mean, so deep and so long into the critical zone like this, has there ever been a time that it's been in this zone for that long without, a major correction? No, you won't find one. So yeah, my general disposition is still massively leaning towards a multi-month long sideways and downside period, which again, I think personally is the more long-term bullish scenario, because that would imply to me that we're not going to see this massive bear market drawdown. We're going to see a long period of sideways and boring consolidation similar to 2024, but that similar to 2024 did lead towards further upside continuation. Whereas if Bitcoin does continue to new highs from basically here throughout the rest of this year, I would be looking at that as, your general parabolic top, blow off top. And, we will see a prolonged bear cycle, and you're going to see some very nasty drawdowns, especially, on altcoins. TN says, what do you think about the Pizza Brothers 18.5-year real estate cycle thesis? Look, I love the Pizzinos. That is actually not their original work. It is Phil Anderson. Now, they are very, very forthright about that. I just want to make sure that credit is given to the right place. And you're asking, is it likely with rate cuts? Look, there's always people focus so fucking much on rate cuts. look, the rate cut thing, all these things, all these conversations that people are having, like, oh, well, we've never seen this before. No, it's always been that way in the past. It's always been that way in the past. I think that the 18.5-year cycle, most importantly, has not been disproven. From everything that I've seen, the probabilities significantly favor that playing out over anything else. Now, I say that, and I don't fucking want it to play out. Obviously, like, nobody. What people don't understand is that if we actually do see that play out, it's gonna fucking suck. It's gonna fucking suck for everyone. Okay, there's not gonna be any safe places. I don't know where you go as a safe haven asset during that point. It's not going to be crypto. It's not going to be fucking gold. Actually, it might be gold, but it's not going to be. It's not going to be stocks. It's not going to be fiat currencies of any sort. It's going to be a lot of real fucking pain. Real fucking pain. Like, I mean, when was the last time we really saw it? 2008. That was real pain for 99% of the world. In America, most places did see pain. There were some pockets where it wasn't that bad, but you know, these were bubbles. These were the few and far between. And as the saying goes, when America sneezes, the rest of the world catches AIDS. And that's just fucking true, man. It's unfortunately true. So, you know, if America experiences something like that, it's going to be very, very bad, not just for America, but for everyone else, pretty much. Even if, you know, something does emerge great on the other side, which it naturally will. There'll be like a phoenix rising from the ashes. You are going to go through such a massive period of pain. You are not going to give a fuck about that during that time. And also, who's to say that you're going to benefit from it? I mean, maybe just China takes over the world, and I don't know. Hopefully not, but you know, always possible, right? Anyways, my point is that with rate cuts, look, if you rewind back to 2008, they were talking about the same shit. Oh, you know, it's going to be the next thing. Like, oh, the rate cuts are coming, guys. That's going to be bullish. You know, we got this coming. It's going to be bullish. Don't listen to these silly things that have played out for hundreds and thousands of years. That's crazy. No. Rate cuts are going to change everything. No, it doesn't work like that, man. Doesn't fucking work like that, unfortunately. And the beautiful thing about today is that you can actually go back in time and read the news headlines from these times. And you will notice that the news headlines that we see today are nearly fucking recycled from every previous year. I can tell you one of the most enlightening experiences that I had was during 2022 when everyone was talking about inflation, this and that, and rate cuts and shit like that. I went back to 1970s when the U.S. had kind of like stagflation in a way. And what do you know? During those times, it was the same fucking headlines, even complaining about the same thing. You know, oil was a big issue back then. It was, oh, we're running out of oil, the environment, blah, 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 blah. No, what happened? We have now, you know, more than ever. It's almost not even an issue, it seems like. So these sort of things, man, they're all cyclical. So I trust a lot more in that than I do in, oh, well, the rate cuts are going to change everything. I mean, that is just the most fucking brain dead take that you hear parroted from herpety derps that have no fucking clue what they're talking about. I'm not saying that this is you. I'm just saying when I go to like, you know, the mainstream channels, if you will, people are like, guys, rate cuts are coming. How could things possibly go down? Well, you obviously haven't done your fucking homework, because guess what? Anytime that they've cut rates in the past like 20 years, maybe even 40 years, price goes down in the short term. Long term, it goes up. Big fucking time. But in the short term, it goes down. And so do you really want rate cuts? I mean, you do for the long term, but in the short term, you have to realize, why are they cutting rates? They're cutting rates not because things are fucking rainbows and sunshine outside. They're cutting rates as a response to try to stimulate the economy because some terrible shit has happened. Remember what happened during COVID? Price went down in one of the most dramatic ways possible over like a week or two period, and then they cut rates. And then price goes up. Crazy, you know, but price first went down into those rate cuts. Anyways, Clay's Garage says, look at Pi High. How would Fibo 2009 make it fire off? Sir, you're speaking gobbledygook here. These are not coherent ideas. I'm sorry. I can look at the Pi cycle high, but I think you have a interesting synopsis of it. Let's see where it's at. Okay, I don't even have it on. I honestly don't even know if it really matters. But let's see. Where is it at right now? Let's see. Need to wait for it to load. So the Pi cycle high top is when these two moving average crosses right here, and it's accurately called, well, very close to the top for most cycles. Very, very close. Not perfectly, but very, very close. You know, not far off. And what is it implying here? Well, we need to see these things cross. These two moving averages here cross, and there's no way to, I mean, we can calculate that going forward, so that's not going to be helpful right now. Because these two moving averages can cross in a couple different ways. One, Bitcoin rallies up to the fucking moon and beyond and pulls this slower, the faster moving period one, which is the orange one, up to the green one. The other way is that Bitcoin just goes sideways for eternity, and you know, this top one gets pulled down while this one gets pulled up a little bit, and then they inevitably be crossing as well. But yeah, man, I don't know if this one's going to work in the future. It has worked quite well in the past, I guess. So, you know, it's not really wise to denigrate things that have not failed just yet, but yeah, I mean, looking at this past one right here, technically it was not the high. Bitcoin did trade higher later on, but you know, in terms of actual price, it's pretty fucking good. So yeah, other than that, I don't know how to really even interpret your question, man. Look at pi. Just look at pi high low. Would Fib 0209 make it fire off? I mean, that would basically put Bitcoin a little bit above this green moving average. So naturally, these the faster period one would be pulled up to it. So theoretically, yes, that would make it fire off. Yeah, which would be pretty epic, man. And that would probably be that scenario that I kind of alluded to earlier with starting in September. You know, September being green, and then Bitcoin going on one of those parabolic runs. Which again, I think that ultimately long term that would be a bad sign. I mean, obviously, it'd be very, very nice. Bitcoin goes to 209. Amazing. Fucking everyone's happy. Or shit, people are not going to be happy because people are still miserable, even with Bitcoin at $100,000. Insane. But some people would be happy at least. Yeah, I mean, that could certainly be one way. Certainly could be one way. I think I misinterpreted your question. So my apologies for that, man. But yeah, I think after reading it like 5 times over, I think I kind of understand it. Yeah, if Bitcoin rallied up here, would that cause us to fire off? It would, yeah, more or less, yeah. Gallo says, Tron, can we get to 35 cents on the 6 hour? There's always a possibility, just maybe not a high probability, sir. Can we get to 36 cents? Whoops, hold on. I don't want to be on this chart. It's not a very useful chart for me right now. Let's see. Actually, let's go to this one. This one's already running. No. Let's go to this one. No, this one. Yes. Okay. If this one's already running, okay, you're specifically asking about the 6 hour time frame. On a bounce, yeah. Okay, 35 cents. You know, I would say 34.5 to 35 cents is quite likely on a bounce. You know, just like Bitcoin, I do think you're in a bouncy position right here. I don't think you're going to break below 33 cents without a bounce first. So yeah, could it get to 35 cents? I think a very high probability with about 34.5 cents. 35 is a little bit higher there, but I guess it's not that crazy. Definitely possible, I guess. Is it going to happen in the next 6 hours? If that's a question, I would say probably not, but I think you're just asking about on the 6 hour time frame. You know, with this many drives of bullish divergence right here, I think you're very likely to at least get to the green moving average, but that's again 34.5 cents. Close, but not exactly there. Crypto Ninja says ASST stock 5-day. Got it. ASST. Asset entities. Just one moment. All right. Let's see. 5-day right here. This one overall looking like pretty good on a reversal, honestly. You know, you can see that the trend, the price action pivot's trend line extension is currently interacting with price, but that would also imply that if it can start to really close above, you know, this number, especially just the last 5-day high, which is 684. Unfortunately, this is not closing anytime soon, but if and when it does, this thing should go on a pretty nice rally, I would imagine. I think it might even get to like double digits, honestly. When I look at the weekly, it's not quite there, you know, so there is still potential for a real rejection. If you're on a daily, I mean, I guess you can kind of look at it from here, but you'd have to be using yesterday's low as a major pivot point, meaning that this must be like the low for this move if it's just going to continue from here. If not, and you get another rejection and come back down below that low, I think that this spends more time consolidating down to like $4.5 and maybe even just falls apart at that point because, well, here's your long-term trend. But yeah. Steven Schickman says, has bullish divergence played out on DOGEBTC? What time frame, sir? I need time frames, otherwise I'm flying blind. Maybe a weekly? Well, there's no bullish divergence there, so I guess that answers that question. 5-day, not, I mean, this one's already played out. Maybe you're on a daily. I don't see any bullish divergence here. Maybe you meant hidden bullish divergence on this last low. I would say that this one's already played out. Like, yeah, once that price action pivot flips into a high rather than a low, now it's safe to say that one's played out. Yeah, I would. So I don't necessarily know what time frame you're going off because I'm actually having trouble even finding it. Maybe you're on a monthly or something. Oh, monthly, yeah, monthly we have some 1, 2, 3 drives. It did make it up to the green moving average. That's generally my target for that. So I would say it's reasonable to expect that it has already played out. Yes. If it hadn't already made this move up to the green moving average here at 240 or 250, I would say no, upside is still more likely, but the easy part of that move has already been hit, in my opinion. So if you're looking for more, you're looking for outsized returns in that case. But I mean, could happen, I guess. What about a quarterly? Maybe it has it on quarterly. Nope. It does not. It does not. The Schwab says, is that your real picture, sir? The Schwab, yes. Charles, it must be. Always appreciate your thoughts on the traditional markets. Appreciate it, man. In market psychology, could you take a look at NASDAQ futures 4-hour and daily? Honestly, man, I do not trust myself on lower term timeframes for traditional markets. I'll look at it, man, but I don't think I mean, generally it's just up, but I don't know, man. Here, I'm looking for something that's obvious first. I know these are not the timeframes you asked about. Overall, I know you didn't ask about the monthly, but I look at the monthly wick low as basically a reconnect with that red moving average. And so being that this is already a breakout to new all-time highs, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing just trade sideways and up from here, man. It's just not wise to be bearish on this thing generally. That's what I've learned. There is a time and place, obviously, but I don't know if it's right now, like right after a fresh all-time high breakout. Anyways, the point that I want to make, though, is that I would be treating this thing as bullish as long as you're above the Tuesday, the 19th of August low, which is $23,000. Also kind of yesterday's low as well. 4-hour time frame, kind of V bottoming out of there. I don't necessarily think it's going to like green dildo its way to the, back to 2,400 from exactly here. I think that it could reject in the short term, come back down to that low and then try an upside move, something like that. Yes. But I would be treating this one as more likely to be bullish again, as long as you're above this low right here. Below this low, okay, trend does change a bit. And at that point I could look for, return back down to the mid 22s. But until then, man, it's just best not to bet against this damn thing. That's what I think about that. And being that this is a symmetrical triangle, there technically is an implied target if it were to break out of the top side, which would require a daily above about 23,640. At that point, this thing's pointed towards new highs at 24,300 or so, something like this, which, look, knowing this thing, I mean, very possible. Crazy shit. But yeah, man. All right, I'll get on to the comments back here. Let's get some Twitch interaction going as well. Apparently my comments just refreshed, so I've lost many of them, which is quite annoying. So hold on about that. But yeah, in traditional markets, generally I just don't like being bearish. There's a time and place for sure. But I don't think it's right now, man. Looking at a quarterly like this, I don't think that you're going to get a pullback to like 21,500 or 22 for that matter. I think it's going to be sideways and up from here. Short-term pullbacks, sure, but long-term upside still probably implied. Yeah, I mean, you've already played out the easy portion of this bearish divergence right here with that wick down to the yellow moving average. I mean, if you do see this thing come back down below like $21,500, okay, yeah, sure, there's something else going on, but for fuck's sake, I wouldn't be betting against that until that happens. Same thing on SPY over here as well. I mean, this one's even above that upwards boundary, at least as of right now. Again, 27 days left to go on that quarterly, but yeah. So It is what it is. Straight Path says, GM, what would be the next major resistance for CIFR in your opinion? I don't know. Let's maybe look at it first. It depends on the time frame, sir. I'm guessing you're on very high term time frames here because, as we've been saying, this thing is more or less breaking out. Next big area of interest would basically be $10, let's say. It's a psychological number. It's also your spike high before the big bad move to the downside in November of 2021. So that area typically gets respected. So yeah, that'd be the big one in my opinion. Above there, this thing can probably fly up to 12 and a half, $13, and who knows what the fuck happens there. I'm still riding the bull train, so it's the Schwab. Nice one, man. Yeah. I mean, look, and also tell you, like, straight up what I'm doing in traditional markets. I'm fucking holding there as well, man. Like, I honestly, I would hold as well, even if it came down to $21,500. Like, these are very, very long-term positions for me. Do you invest in real estate? No, man. Real estate scares me. Real estate scares me because of my own experiences, because of experiences that I've seen. The problem with real estate is just not liquid. It's not liquid when you need it to be. And it's, to me, real estate, if you really want to do well in it, it seems like it's one of those games where it really matters who you know. And I'm fucking antisocial, man. I don't want to do that. I don't want to play fucking buddy with people and shit like that because I don't care. So, there's that. And then the illiquidity of it is just very, very difficult, man. It scares me, man. I'm even trying to sell, one of the places that I bought, and it's fucking hard, man. It's fucking hard. The whole process about selling a place is hard. There's so many ways that I can get fucked around with. I've seen my parents try to sell their house, which took, over a year, might not even still be sold. Like, it's just a fucking headache. I'm sure things are great when it's a bull market, but that's how everything looks when it's a bull market. Everything looks easy when it's a bull market. I want to know how things are when it's a bear market. I want to know how it is during these times, because those can and absolutely 100% will happen. And I want to know exactly how fucking devastating it is during those times, because that's where you find the real issues with these things. Look, I understand some people absolutely love real estate. I understand that there is a tremendous value in using real estate to help optimize your taxes. That's a different thing for sure. But if, looking to get into real estate to make money, I think it's a really difficult game. It's not a game that I want to play personally. If you're playing that game and you're making money, hey, I have all the respect to you. I fucking salute you. But I'm not fucking playing. Gibson JK says, can you look at COOKIEUSDT? Well, I'm sure it's going to be great, man. COOKIEUSDT, huh? Yes. Give me COOKIEUSDT. COOKIEUSDT now. DAO now. COOKIEUSDT. Wow, yeah, great chart, bro. Amazing. My 3-year-old niece would look at this chart and say, bad. It's bad. It's going down. Down. Yeah. Great analysis, Ruth. It's bad, and I think it only gets worse, man. I think it only gets worse. If you do get a bounce during this month, I'd be looking for, I don't know, somewhere around 14 cents or so, give or take a little bit from that number, because, these things don't move in a straight line. So if it does bounce, I'd be looking somewhere around there. However, the long-term direction is irrelevant for the long-term direction. Down is the only direction that something like this goes, man. Very fucking bad. This might even be a contender for worst chart of the day award, but we haven't seen too many just yet, but it's a strong early contender. Anyways, LP Philosopher says, what's your take on the monthly volatility for Bitcoin? Would you agree a monster trend is brewing? And the question is, in which direction does it happen? So volatility on the monthly is objectively the lowest level we've ever seen ever for Bitcoin. So yeah, absolutely. What you will also notice is that volatility in general on the monthly is trending down over time, which is actually the sign of a maturing asset. So we do expect it to go low over time. But even with that, this is, extreme lows. So can it go a little bit lower? Sure. Are we looking for a big fucking move on this thing? Yeah, I still think it's going to take longer though. So of course, your question is, which direction does it happen? For that, I like to use things like momentum oscillators to get a bias on direction. And as we looked at earlier, if things were to move right now, generally they'd favor the downside. If they were to move right now, but yeah, I don't think that this thing is going to V bottom out of here. I think it's going to take some time and then we see a big move. So fair enough. Where is Rye? Says Krown. Hi, Krown. I really don't like you. Fair enough, man. There's many such cases out there in the world. It's okay. You don't have to like me. We got some hate. American says SUI long term. We can look at SUI. I was sold on hopes and dreams with my SUI coins. They were going to make me rich. They told me that SUI would go... Do I hate my gigantic balls? My balls are actually very, very big. I blame the HCG. Yeah, very big balls. Very hairy as well. Lots of white hairs. It's very bad. Looking at SUI, I mean, look, this thing is no longer like the fucking darling of the market. I would not count it out just yet because obviously if Bitcoin moves to the upside, this thing's going to do as well. And, you know, I think it is going to bounce more from here. I think it should bounce to like 350, 360, something like that. But you got lower highs here now. I think you're generally bouncing in the short term. I don't think it's going to be a big winner this, you know, anymore. You know, it's already kind of had its time in the spotlight. I think you're just going to, I think it's a bounce to 360 and then come back to it after that. You know, long term, I don't fucking know. This thing hasn't even been around for the long term. Like, it's been around since 2023. That's not long. There's no long-term analysis doing something like this. There's hopium if you're an insider, which I'm guessing I know exactly where you got the idea for this thing from. But, you know, fair enough. I respect him as well. But he is an insider at the end of the day. He is talking his book at the end of the day. You know, have to be aware of that. This thing, as far as I see it right now, short-term bounce, come back to it after that. Where would actually change my opinion on this thing to be like just massively bullish? It would need to get back above 385. Back above 385, I'd actually switch around to being a mega bull on this. But until then, I think you're going to bounce here. Should be a decent bounce. See what happens after that. Hate from the herps, hate from the derps. Good traders make hate in both directions. Yes, indeed. Hate indeed. What is HCG? It's what you take when you're a bull shrink. Can we take a look at AVAX? Sure, man. Have you heard of ChatGPT? That can answer all of these questions and more for you. AVAX. Look, I mean, in the short term, it does have 1, 2, 3 higher lows. So most of these shitcoins we've seen today can't even say that. Has the same highs right here. So technically, this would have a bullish resolution as a bias, but we need to see it close above the topside boundary of this, which is $26. If it can close above $26, or sorry, let's call it 26 and a quarter, then I actually would look at this thing as likely to put in a rally towards 30 or above 30. But, you know, looking at the monthly, looking at the higher term timeframes, I do think that that's unlikely personally. But yeah, you know, in the short term, like most other things, well, no, this one's already kind of had its bounce. I mean, if it bounces more and the rest of the market bounces more, then this thing actually probably does reclaim those numbers. And then, yeah, that'd be a nice rally to, yeah, that would be a nice rally to like $30 plus, I would imagine. I don't know. We'll see. But where would I confirm bearishness on this one? To confirm bearishness on this one would be super easy. Just anywhere below last Sunday's low at $22.50 or so. Anywhere below there, this thing is falling apart and coming back down to the summer lows in the high teens. But until then, I actually think there's a little bit more hopium on this one compared to most things that we've seen today, just because of the daily trend right now. Are we actually safe to take some trades on leverage for Bitcoin at this zone? How fucking retarded do you have to be to ask a question like this, sir? I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry to use these terms, man, but oh my God, there's so many things wrong with this statement. It's unbelievable. Okay, one, I have no idea what the fuck your trading strategy is. I don't know if you're trading on the 5-minute. I don't know if you're trading on the hourly, the daily, the monthly, the quarterly. All of these things matter to give an accurate answer. Second, I don't know your trading preferences. I don't know if you're a scalper. I don't know if you're a trend trader. Third, I'm not a fucking financial advisor, so I'm not fucking answering that question to you to begin with. Fourth, there are some idiots out there on the internet who will give an answer to that. And they'll be like, hey, this is a great buy zone, okay? I'm calling a buy here. They're fucking idiots. Why? Because they can't possibly know what is right for you to do because they don't fucking know you. Obviously, for fuck's sake. Like, this is the problem, man. People will ask this question. This is the problem. This is a problem. People will ask a question like this intuitively. They just don't know any better, okay? I know I said retarded. I'm sorry, man. You're not retarded. You just don't know any better because no one's probably explained this to you. But you'll ask these questions just looking for answers, looking for some reassurance, looking for some conviction to borrow from someone else. And the problem is that other people will give that to you. They'll be like, yeah, this is great buy zone. It's like, they don't know what the fuck you're trying to do. They have no fucking clue. And you don't even know if they know what the fuck they're talking about to begin with. I don't even know what fucking asset you're talking about. Oh, you are talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin on leverage. How much leverage are you using? Probably not. If this is your question, you probably shouldn't be using leverage at all, man. You probably shouldn't even be trading at all, to be honest. Like, really, you're just going to ask someone on the internet, like, what the hell they're like, should I buy right now? Should I wipe my ass today? It feels kind of poopy, but I'm not so sure. Like, sir, oh my God, man. You cannot, for fuck's sake. Dude, just learning not a pro. Look, I understand, man. Look, I understand. In these cases, what I'd say to you, go check out something like MetaSignals. They will show you setups with probabilities and actual trade setups. Do not fucking trade on leverage, though. For fuck's sake, if you're just learning, do not fucking trade on leverage. For the love of God, please, 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 please. You're only going to lose money, man. You're only going to lose money. For fuck's sake. You don't need to even trade on leverage to make good money anyways. This asset moves so fucking much. You don't need to. Look, if you're a noob and you need some training wheels, check out something like the quantum wave bands, check out something like MetaSignals. They'll give you probabilistic setups. They'll actually show you where, a proposed entry and exit would be, and they'd give you the probabilities amongst those. And you can watch those. I wouldn't even trade them to begin with. I would watch them. And learn how shit works. Because once you see that, you'll notice that things are not going to move in a straight line. Things take many different twists and turns. There's all sorts of crazy random shit that can happen, even when you do have very high probability setups. And then you may learn actually something that's worthwhile. But just to blindly ask a question like that, man, there's no way to properly answer to it. Do I think that Bitcoin's going to bounce more from here? Generally, yes, I do. If you can't glean that already, from what I've said during the stream, maybe you just weren't here. That's fine. Again, I'm not trying to be an asshole, although I know that I am being kind of an asshole right now. But my point is that would be the place to start off over there. But to answer a question like that it's impossible. There is no proper answer that I could ever possibly give to you because I don't know. I know the proper answer for me. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, if he's left, then whatever. Fuck him. But yeah. But yeah, look, to anyone else listening, like, that is truly what I think. That is truly what I think, honestly. So yeah. Anyways. But sir, does it go up or down? Yeah, exactly, man. Is it going up in the next 5 seconds, in the next 5 days, in the next 5 years? Just figure it out. Read my fucking mind. There's no way to know, man. Yeah, but where's your stop loss, Krown? Exactly, bear nutrition. It's on my price action pivot, man. That fucking indicator just made this thing fucking idiot proof, honestly. It kind of did, to be fair. I mean, look, the problem is, or the reason why I do get kind of worried about that, or a little bit more emotional is because of the story that I told you earlier with that guy committing suicide. Like, this was a guy who, if you were to read his Twitter, it sounded like he was a professional trader, sounded like he was doing good, blah, 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 giving out advice and stuff like this. And even he is not putting these things together, I'm guessing, or something. Again, I don't know the full story, so I will actually stop talking about it right there, because maybe I'm just completely off base, completely fucking wrong. Very, very possible. But my point is, man, is that you got to be careful with this shit. Like, don't trust anyone. Don't trust me. Like, don't fucking trust. Like, verify everything that I say. You can verify everything that I say. All you need to do is just do the calculations yourself. It's very simple to do. You can do it with a goddamn calculator. Very, very simple. I mean, probably Pegless, probably, but I won't mention names or anything like that, man. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, these people get very, very popular for many reasons, but one reason why they get popular is because, newer people will go to them. They'll ask a question, which is just an innocent question, probably like what that guy was doing as well earlier. Just wanting to know an answer, not knowing any better. And then they will give them an answer, and people like to have the answer for someone else. They want to borrow that conviction. They want to borrow that conviction because, one, they feel like that person, knows something more than them. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they don't fucking know. And then two, if they're wrong, then it's not my fault. I didn't make that call. I didn't make that trade. The other person told me to do it. They're fucking wrong. Fuck them. Krown, your channel is prepped for having kids. The first one you expect too advanced thinking. The second mellows you out, and you realize everyone is quite daft. You know, that's funny you say that, ASST. I've actually heard that. I've actually heard that a couple of times. Like the first kid is usually, you know, super serious and super intense, and then the second one's like, you know, kind of chilled out. I hope that's true. I don't know. We don't have kids. Holy shit! Wait, what? That is fucking wild. I'm just reading one of these comments. I'm like, is that even true? But look, man, like, yes, you got to be careful because people will give you that conviction because they also know that that's, you know, that's why people go to them. You know, people want the conviction. They want the conviction. And the problem is that no one can give it to you. No one can give it to you besides yourself. And even then, you don't have conviction. You have probabilities. You have probabilities and decisions made using those probabilities. That's the best way, in my opinion, to do it. You're not always going to be right. You don't need to always be right. You just need to make money over the long term. That's the job. That's the job if you want to undertake this absolutely crazy fucking profession that really very few people should ever even consider. Yeah. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. And it is sad, and it's super sad too, man. And I say this again because like I've seen so many, like, look, I've been on social media now for like making content on social media since 2018. And I've seen so many just terrible stories, man. So many fucking terrible stories. Like a lot of them could be avoided. Just don't trust a random person on the internet. That's that's the moral of the story. Don't trust me. Don't trust anyone else. Always verify yourself. You can look at someone else as like, you know, a colleague. You shouldn't look at them as like a fucking master. You shouldn't look at me as a master. You should look at me as like a colleague. And you're like, that's kind of a cool idea. Oh, these numbers kind of make sense to me over here. I'm gonna go test it out myself. Like that would be the way. Krown, my mortgage depends on you up or down now. Oh man. Yeah. It is what it is, man. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure everyone here now has seen a lot of horror stories. Like it's not uncommon for anyone getting into trading, whether it be crypto or stocks or fucking pink slips, to go broke at some point, you know? And that's usually where you kind of internalize a lesson like that. Remember BitBoy? I do remember BitBoy. Actually, I saw him back recently too, man. I hope things are going better for him, man. I sincerely do, honestly. And I just tuned into his video for like a moment, and his whole demeanor seems to change like quite a lot. So hopefully things are on the up and up, man. I mean, world could use more people who are not in a downward spiral. Like just stopping that part is good enough. Path of Exile 2 is amazing. Nice, man. I didn't just get back into, but I've been getting into Total War Third Age, which is a 20-year-old game at this point. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing in the world. No, it's not my favorite thing in the world. My favorite thing in the world is hanging out with Elsa and hitting the bag and looking at some Magic and money. That's it. And then playing that game. So it comes a little bit after that. Rafa says, Crown Sire, I beseech your wisdom about American Airlines. I can tell you their planes fucking suck. We took their plane from Arizona to Florida. Didn't like it. Didn't like it, man. I don't like this chart either. Long term, this looks like one massive descending triangle on the lows. Now, in the short term, does it put in maybe another rally towards this upwards boundary of it, which would also, by the way, be the weekly 377, the blue moving average right here? Possible. I mean, that is where it likes to rally on these epic one-off rallies. But even in the short term, man, you're hitting the weekly 200 simple. Like, it wouldn't be super surprising if it turned down around here. My point is, though, long term, this is not fucking good. And, whether it does something like this, pops back up here for one last gasp for air and then fucking nosedives, or if it just nosedives from here, or if it rallies up from here and then nosedives, I don't fucking know about any of that. But long term, the direction I do think is to the downside. Then again, when I zoom out, let's see if there's anything. When I zoom out, I mean, it is around your multi-decade lows. It's had a few rallies from it's really fucking weak, man. Either which way I cut it, I really don't like it. I can tell you exactly where I'd switch my opinion on it, though. This is the moment where I'd be, holy shit, this thing is actually about to reverse its whole trend. It's bullish as fuck, and it's going up a lot. If you could just trade above, what is it, like January's high? Yeah, January's high at 19. 1910 above there. I think that this thing would really reverse, but even that's not gonna be a straight line. But you know, for right now, I'm always gonna be bearish on a downtrend. Yes, they suck. Every year they are worse. Yeah, I didn't know about that Gallo because I think I flew them like a couple times before, and I had no problems, man, going from California to Chicago. But yeah, this last one was like, it's like, I don't know. I'm not fucking flying this one ever again. It's bad. Really bad, man. Really fucking bad. Jojo wants to look at Cardano and Link. Let's look at Cardano. I think that's been... Actually, no, Link has been the better chart, I think, but Cardano, probably more people interested in this shit. Still put in higher... hold on, let's go to a weekly. Yeah, I think we looked at this one on Monday. We said, give it a chance to bounce here first. Yeah, and there is hidden bullish evidence on this one populating. So if it finishes a day like here or higher, I do think that the bounce gets extended. I believe this is also what we said on Monday as well. Somewhere into like the deep 80s, maybe low 90s, something like that. But I technically should be looking at this one as bearish as long as you're below 96 cents. And yeah, similar to Dogecoin, similar to Link, I'm sure as well. They're all above all these monthly major movement averages. So like I said, my rule is I can't be bearish on it as long as it's above there. But the second that it comes back down below there, which would be about 75 cents or so, that's where I'd say, hey, this, you know, party's over for a long time. Until then, you know, some of these actually do have chances here, but you'd really expect that if that is true, then Sunday's low should be the low, and it should really be up only from here, you know, pullbacks along the way, but it should be up only, and this is like the low. So I guess we'll see. I mean, look, if it basically comes back down below this low and closes, you know, even a weekly below, or sorry, daily, weekly, you know, something like that below there, that's where I'd say, no, this thing is really turning around. But until then, I think it's okay for a bit of hopium here, especially if Bitcoin rallies more. Like this thing, you know, should rally with it. And, you know, that's a decent move there as well. It's as he's looking at hype. Let's look at some hype action. I have it. Yes, I have it here. This one also among the better actors. And as we identified, I believe it was on Monday, still higher lows. Again, not going to hate something like this. In fact, it's been one of the best actors this whole damn cycle. So if I think Bitcoin's going to bounce, this one should bounce a bit higher or a bit more. And I'll be saying the same thing here, honestly. Nice bounce thus far. So I think in these cases, it's better that I give like the bearish pivot where I actually change my opinion. And it's the same thing as Monday, honestly, ASST. It's 42.5. Below there on a daily or especially a weekly closure, I think that this thing reverses back down to low 30s. But until then, it's in a better position than I think anything else we've seen today in the cryptocurrency market. In the cryptocurrency markets, yeah. But I really want to reiterate that I would be very quick to being bearish if we see these pivots violated for all of the prior ones that we've seen, including this one. Because when these things do switch around, I think we're in for like big corrections, like percentage corrections on these. But yeah, just wait to fly Spirit and Allegiant. Yeah, man. Actually, I think I've flown Spirit before. Honestly, I was quite happy about it because it was very, very cheap. Yeah, but I don't think I've ever flown Allegiant or maybe Alaska. Is Alaska bad as well? I don't know, man. Take care, Nimbo. I got spot hype. It's been fun. Yeah, man. Yeah, not a bad one to be holding spot, I guess. I mean, it has, like I said, been one of the best actors in this whole cycle and continuously throughout the cycle as well, which, deserves a lot of praise. Because many things, have like one pop and then they're done. I kind of look at that as like SUI. This thing's been consistently working up and to the right, which is nice. Very, very nice. What else we got? Are we still looking for Bitcoin lows in the first 2 weeks of the month? Are we? I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but what I've been saying for the past week or the past week and a half now is that Bitcoin's more likely to bounce in the first portion of the month. So if you're looking for lows, well, that's something that you're doing, sir. You are also free to do whatever the hell you want to do. Drink Water wants to look at SUI again. We can look at SUI again if you really desire. Can't promise you have anything new to say about it. Short term, I still think bounce 3.5 to 360 or so. Long term, I'm not super convinced by this. Let's see. Where's my momentum chart? Okay, I need to get rid of some of these. It's got to be here. Yeah. Okay, let's see what higher term time frame momentum is looking like, because that might help with some biases here. Oops, here we go. Still up on the monthly. Where's the pivot? 318. Yeah, I definitely agree with 318. 2 week is actually okay here as well. Bi-monthly is, as long as it remains above these major moving averages, I guess it does have a chance. It did just briefly drop below there to open up September, but that's not an issue. It's all about the closure. And right now it's still above. So yeah, when I'm looking at the weekly, I have the same thing to say about this as I do as most things. It's like, if you want to be bullish on these things, I think it is okay to have hopium here, but it absolutely must not come back down below even this week's low at 311 and close a weekly below there. At that point, I think that most of these things are going to fall apart. Until then, I think that there is some hopium, especially if I think that Bitcoin's, likely to bounce higher. It's already at 112 now, so I think at least 113. So these things, should try some rallies. The real question is, do they get above any major points that actually change the game? And for something like Hype, it's already an uptrend, so that doesn't really matter. But for something like SUI, for me, I think you would need to get back above, I think it was like 385 or 390, something like that. Let's see. Bullish moon soon, and Friday unemployment data can be interesting. It's always a silly game to try to guess what economic events are gonna have, unless you're an insider. But as far as the moons go, that is less of a silly game in my opinion, because you actually have probabilities with those. And yeah, fair enough. Is Gainsy your brother? Many people have speculated so, but we may never know the true answer, sir. Does CME gap at 92,000 area act as a magnet, which seems to hold? No, I don't like thinking of gaps like that. This is a really, really disastrous way to be thinking. First off, there's not a gap at 92. When you look at a weekly, there's just not going to be one there. When I go to a daily, maybe there is. Let's see. You're probably talking about this right here. I would say no, there's not even a gap to begin with. This was more or less filled the 2 days afterwards. So I would just not agree with that. It becomes very apparent when you go to a weekly time frame and you don't see anything there. You don't see anything there at all. So yeah, I think that's kind of like getting a magnifying glass out and trying to see what you want to see. Gaps do not act as magnets to begin with. Gaps can be filled much later on. There is plenty of examples, even in Bitcoin, of gaps keep being filled, 6 months, a year, or a year later. So they do generally get filled. Yes, that absolutely is true. Just the timing of that is tremendously variable. So trying to guess something before then, I think is very, very difficult. Mr. Krown, what is your philosophy on the meaning of life? I don't know. I think it's probably nihilistic, but at the same time, I think it's more fun to play a game with life and just try to maximize as much of your potential as possible in whatever skill that you want. Pick 2 skills, try to get as good as possible at those things. And then don't fucking complain. That's also a good one as well. That's also the meaning of life. Don't fucking complain. Go outside, look at a tree and be like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then you realize, oh, it's not so bad. 6GSF says the 9200 gap fiasco. You've been telling people that from, I know. There's that one. There's also, by the way, I don't know if that was a slip of tongue or if you actually meant 92, but there is one. Is it at 92 or is it lower than that? From way back here, way back when. No. Yeah, there's one right. Oh, I'm on the wrong chart. That's why. Derp. I fucking derped that one pretty hard. Yes, there's this one right here. That's 9,700. Hey, never got filled. But guys, it has to get filled. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to get filled. It's very likely to get filled. Doesn't need to get filled. This one over here. Guys, it needs to rally back up to fill the gap. It's a magnet, bro. No, it does. A month and a half later after being down 50%. So good luck with that one. And then my favorite gap to always disprove this silliness is all the way down here. All the way down here. Can't even see it now. But yes, that one exists as well. I don't think it's going to get filled, but hey, fair enough. Lobotomy specialist. I'm specialized in my own lobotomy, sir. I like to fill gaps. Yes, we all like to fill gaps as well. Is it a bunghole gap or is it the other gap? The not good one. You want to look at YFI and chance? Let's just look at one shitcoin at a time. We can look at YFI. What the fuck is this thing? Oh, this is a 2021 shitcoin. I'm sure it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. Wow. Amazing, bro. Go all in. This is a great place to buy on leverage. Whatever the fuck that means. If you can't tell that that is sarcasm, then, well, we have bigger problems. But yeah, man. This one also categorically one of the worst charts we've seen today, in fact. It is categorically one of the worst. Among the worst. Maybe even the worst. It's been worse for longer. So that definitely counts against it. Yeah, man, this is I don't think it's ever even gonna get back above its December highs. Just terrible. What do you think about tether dominance chart on the daily, possible retest of a downtrend? No, I don't think that there's gonna be a high right here. I do think it's gonna be a short-term downside move for sure. So again, this also actually, I'm actually glad that you brought this up because I hadn't looked at it, but this also does kind of help out with a short-term bullish bias too. You know, is this one going to come down more? Probably, yeah. You know, maybe back down like 4.25, 420-ish region, good number. But I'm still looking at this area right here, whether it gets double tapped or not, I don't really care. But this area right here, the lows of August are very likely, in my opinion, going to be the same result as what we saw in January of this year and March of last year. I think it's a bouncy zone, but yeah. It would be pretty epic though if this one did turn down right here. Oh, whoops. Okay. I realize I have a lot of drawings now. Okay, let me get rid of this. It'd be pretty epic though if this one did drop down here all the way to the exact low of the prior one and then reversed. I mean, because obviously that would imply that, you know, crypto is going to fucking explode, but I still think it's less likely, honestly. I do think it is less likely. But in the short term, yeah, should come back down. Maybe one more test somewhere to that white moving average, which has held the lows thus far. Yeah, fair enough. But does help out with the short-term bullish bias for sure. The last gap is at 116,500. I think it's somewhere around there, yeah. I do think Bitcoin, no, there, what the fuck? No, where do you get this from? I'm not even trying to be an asshole, but where do you get this from? Where is the gap? If you can't see it on a daily, it certainly does not exist. If you can't see it on a weekly, it doesn't matter that much. Maybe you're on like an hourly time frame. Okay, you're looking at this right here. Yeah. So you're going to see that on an hourly, but not on a daily. To me, that just doesn't really matter. But I don't know. At the same time, I actually do think we see a move somewhere around there, to be honest. You know, if target number 2 plays out over here, that's basically that same number. So very possible. I just wouldn't necessarily identify it as a, you know, as a gap personally when looking at the daily. A pudding gap. Yes, the pudding gap. Can you please fill my pudding gap with syrup daily? Yes, no problem, sir. I think I know exactly what you want. Shit, I just realized we've almost been doing this for a couple hours. Pretty good here, actually. I mean, you can, sure. I remember we looked at this one on Monday and we said, hey, this one's kind of good, actually. I still think it's good, man. I still think that this thing, yes, it has hit that 50-cent target or so. I think it's very likely to actually close above this region and probably trade back up towards 60 cents or something like that. I actually kind of like this right here, man. Among the best charts today, this one goes in the same bucket as hype, but a little bit better than hype because it doesn't have as much history, which means that there's less overhang. But yeah, I do think that this one probably will push through here and put in a rally into the deep 50s. Don't do it. All right, last one from for NetGasm. NetGasm says, give me some SEZL analysis on the daily. We get SEZL. Okay. SEZL. Okay, so a real stock. Wow. Man, that thing trades like a real shitcoin. Holy shit. This thing went from nearly $200 all the way down to 80. Wow. To be fair, I actually do think it's going to put in a low around here. Maybe it drops a little bit more towards 77, 75 bucks, something like that, but that's fine. I think that you're generally putting in a bottom here and then you're going to rally, but I'm not calling like a rally to new highs or nothing like that. I think you're going to bounce hard. Maybe fill this gap over here at like 130-ish region, something like that. But don't discount how much time it can spend on these lows here. Maybe, like I said, dropping a little bit lower, then trying to rally and see what happens after it gets somewhere around there. That's kind of what I'd be looking at on something like this. Yeah, long term pretty ugly. I think whatever rally you get is probably going to get rejected, and you eventually come down to like 50 to 60 bucks. But short term, I think you're likely to bounce here, then come down, something like that. So yeah, Mike wants to look at Circle. Yeah, let's actually look at Circle. Circle's pretty interesting, I think. We called a top on this one like a month ago. I wonder if this one's starting to bottom now. No, hell no, it's not. I don't think it is. I think this one's going to be down only for a while. I think, yeah, we looked at this one last week and I said probably down below $100. I still think that, honestly. There's going to be a bounce at some point, and the bounce should probably bring you somewhere around like 150, I would guess. But this one looks to me like it wants to go down more first and then bounce. But this is really fucking bad when you see shit like this. This is really fucking... This one's done for a long time. Like going legitimately to the upside and making new highs. You're going to get bounces, yes, but this one's done, in my opinion, for making new highs for a very long time. Yeah, I think it's probably going to get somewhere to like 100 first, then try a bounce, then, you know, turn back down, something like that. All good, Film Ninja. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, I would actually like to buy a position in Circle, but I certainly am not buying this as it stands. I think that it's going to take a long time to really shake itself out anyways. Like, you don't just fucking blow off your top like this and then V bottom right out, you know, lightly. One does not simply V bottom out of there. No, you know, it's going to take a long time, like going sideways, reaccumulating, shit like that. Like, I don't think that there's any rush to get into something like this. And I still think that there's more downside as well. Where should I short ENA on the 12-hour time frame? At least it's a specific question, but again, not. I mean, is it even bearish? That's a real question. Some of these things are not. This one is. Why would you want to short this one? This one's going up. This one's going up, man. Pretty good rally here finally too. I don't know. Maybe this thing even gets back up to like 90 or a buck. Possible. Dumping our coins onto the stock market. I mean, I've been having some dry powder ready for a while now to get a position in some of these, into some of these names, but I will hold off for longer. I'm also already still like pretty allocated to traditional markets, so yeah. Asian Massage says Circle is strange. Some days it follows VIX like USDT. Other days it's doing its own thing. I need better correlation. I think just looking for correlations to these things honestly is kind of like a fool's errand. You don't need to look at correlation, you know, because then you have to decide, okay, which one's moving first, which one's moving second. Oh, is this one following that one? No, is that one following this one? I think it's a really difficult game to play and not a very easy, you know, not so easy. It's more fun to talk about as like a, you know, like a nerdy exercise on YouTube. Appreciate it, Sebastian Dog. Appreciate it, man. I'd rather no trade on correlation. Yeah, I don't like correlation trades. And the correlation can always flip at a moment's notice. It's just easier to look at whatever asset you're looking at, in my opinion. VIX and USDT have excellent correlation. Okay, let's verify this statement because we actually can, but I, for some reason, have my doubts. But let's see. We can verify it. All right, you're on the hot seat now, sir. You've given us promises, and I want answers immediately. Okay. There we go. And we shall do, you said it's with VIX. All right. We shall see. Let's get rid of these. Actually, very correlated recently. That is true. Very correlated recently. Yeah, I mean, anything above spot 5 is like pretty correlated. But again, it's like, how are you going to trade that? Which one's moving first? Which one's moving second? We don't know. Or at least in my opinion, I just think it adds an added layer of complexity that doesn't really help that much, to be honest. It sounds smart. It looks smart. Oh, now that I recognize it, there is some more hopium over here on tether dominance chart. Despite it being in kind of a multi-year bottoming zone, monthly momentum is turning down again. So there is a chance. There really is a chance for that September play to for the September green theory to play out. And at that point, I'd be expecting like a fucking astronomical move for Bitcoin. That'd be kind of crazy. You did tell me, man. I stand corrected. Or I didn't really say that it wasn't, but I just don't really, I guess I just don't really care, to be honest. But fair enough. Gallo says, thanks, man. Made nice money with this week with MetaSignals. Fuck yeah. I was interested on the NFT, but not sure anymore since you said they won't be sold soon. No, what I'm saying is that they're going to stop selling. Like you won't be able to get lifetime access anymore after this month. So I don't know if they're fully on board with this change yet. I'm just letting the community here know in advance if they are, because I mean, you can also ask in their Discord as well, by the way. But from what I understand from my conversations with their founder, he is strongly considering and very likely will, by the end of this month of September, stop selling the lifetime ownership NFTs. So that means you will not be able to buy lifetime ownership anymore, which is fine if you just want to go buy monthly. I mean, some people obviously want that. Personally, I'm the kind of person who just wants to do lifetime for everything and just not have to fucking worry about it. But they're either going to sell all of them by the end of this month, or they're just going to burn all of them. So that's basically it. But ask in their Discord, they will know obviously better than me. The last time I spoke with their founder was maybe a week ago. So, things change fast. Obviously I'll update you as I learn new things, but I also got my own shit going on as well. So fair enough. Hey, all good, Mr. Trader Sosa. Good morning to you, man. Alrighty, Quads Life. Take care, brother. Take care, brother. Smick Manny says, IOUSDT is a bit trash, but I like the project. Fair enough. If you like the project, that's a different thing. If you like the fundamentals, that's a different thing. Fair enough. It's not my game. I don't have any comment on that. I mean, we can look at IO if you really want. Don't know if I have any nice things to say about it, but we shall see. You never know. And I'm glad you like the project. I'm glad you like the project, sir. The technology looks great. All right, we'll do Ondo and then we'll be done for the day. Streams are too damn fun, man. I have a hard time shutting them off. Actually kind of salvaged itself a little bit here. Like I said, most things are looking for at least bounces, and some of the good ones actually are kind of continuation, like we saw earlier. This one, pretty decent bounce thus far. But, oh, whoops, that's why hold on. Let me throw these back on. Where'd they go? I'm like flying blind. It's like I don't even know how to do it without price action pivots anymore. Jesus, I'm pathetic. This one, still going to be skeptical on something like this just because of the long term, but actually there are some good things going on right here. Falling pizza breaking to the upside. Needs to close above about 103 to initiate the next sort of reversal that I think would actually matter at that point. Should trade up towards 1.25, 130-ish region if that were to happen. But just like everything else, I really want to highlight the importance of the Sunday's lows. The Sunday low. As long as you're above the Sunday low, for most things we've seen today, there is legitimate hopium for just general upside moves. The second that we see Sunday's low taken out, especially on a daily closing basis, I can say the same blanket statement for most things we've seen today. We're going to see some pretty nasty downside moves if that happens. But until then, hopium actually is alive and okay, I suppose. All right, Kenneth, last one, man, last one. I don't have a crystal ball for that. I have no idea what it's going to do in the next 6 months, to be honest. The trend is your friend. It's to the upside. It's a very intense move. Do I think it's made its high already? No. I think it still has new highs to make. I have no idea what the fuck it's going to do, man. Can you tell me if it's decoupling from Bitcoin? Obviously, it's decoupling from Bitcoin, man. It hasn't been trading with Bitcoin at all. Nor does it really matter, right? I mean, look at it. Like, this thing's been making new highs just straight up this month, It's doing its own thing. That's okay. Not everything needs to be correlated to everything else. It's okay. You can still make decisions even without that. Amazing. But yeah, I don't know where it's going to be. I just think there will be another new high before those 6 months is over. Who knows where the fuck that's going to be, man. Who knows where the hell that one's going to be. All right, guys. It's been a nice pleasure speaking with you on this nice Wednesday morning. I've really been enjoying these streams. I actually look forward to them nowadays. It's really fun, man. It's really fun. We'll do it again on Friday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday is the usual schedule here. Thanks for joining in as always. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, of course, with just a regular video analysis, and then live stream Friday, and then we'll call it a week. Or actually, I'll do a long-term video on Saturday. Long-term investment videos, more like theory type shit. So probably not reasonable for most people, but yeah, for the people who do like that, I got a really big one prepared that I'm actually really excited to release. So yeah, cool. Thanks for joining.